watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Linton.
This is Kevin Min with Outside the Games. Thank you so much for coming into our program. This program is obviously good for the student athlete, and the reason why is because it gets into character on and off the field and really talks about the academics, about the student athlete in their sport and what they do outside of the sport. So we're here with one of these student athletes here from Woodlands, Texas High School. This is Mabrey Mettauer. He is a fresh, got a class of 2024, gonna be a sophomore. Hey, Mabrey, you're on our show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, sir.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, We're glad that we could have you on. We always get started talking about family. I understand you got mom and dad there. With family, how would you define that and why, Mabrey?
Family's a big part for me because we're always doing stuff together, and family's just been like a big part of my life for me. I'm a big family guy. I like being with the family. We go to church all together. We go on trips together. We're all really close with each other, and it's hard being away from each other for long periods of time.
Yeah, I can tell family means everything to you, especially you and your brother, right? You have a sister?
Yes, sir, I do have a sister. She's 22 or 23.
You're the youngest?
Yes, I'm the youngest.
Wow, okay. With mom and dad, they each play a different role in your life, and as they did with your brother and your sister. Tell me what your dad does to help you become the best student athlete possible, and you being his son. So, how does that work out?
My dad has helped me find the best coaches there are out there to help me succeed in my gameplay in football, and he's always there to critique me on the little things. So if my coach isn't there, he's the other coach.
Right. Now, mom also plays a different role too, and you've kind of mentioned the word assistant.
Yes, sir.
So what does mom do for you to kind of keep things in line, keep things in order, organized, prepared? Preparation is everything. Tell me how that works out.
So every Sunday we get on our calendar, write what we have to do out for the week, and she helps me out with my Twitter some, and she's always on the ball and making me study for my test coming up. And yes, sir.
Nice. Now, with family, there's always an extension of a thing we call mentors, and you probably think of maybe some from your brother and your sister at some point in their lives. They had mentors come into play into their life. Who are your mentors and why, Mabrey? Who? Because they can be, that's that extension of family, as we mentioned, and sometimes your parents are not always there. So ones that come into play.
I would say one of my mentors would be Cisco. He's my strength coach, and my brother, McCade, and I'd say Sean Salisbury, my quarterback coach, and Keith Blackman is another quarterback coach I work with. And they've all helped me become like who I am today in my gameplay on the field.
Oh, that's beautiful. We know that your brother is attending Cal Berkeley as we speak right now in the Pac-12.
Yes, sir.
How does that kind of help you a little bit to kind of know, he's playing football there in college? Does he kind of give you a little bit of insight what college is like, Mabrey?
I mean, a little bit, because last year I went to all of his home games, and I thought that was really cool, like looking on the fields, being on the field, because I used to get like these recruit tickets. I was in 8th grade, and I would get to go on the field before the game, and I got to really feel the energy from everybody on the field, and it was a great experience.
Now, did sister play any sports? Was she involved in any kind of?
My sister was.
Like there's an athletic family here.
My sister was really good at basketball. She won't whip me. I'm better than her, but she's still pretty good. But she could have played in college, but I guess that just wasn't her thing. She didn't want to take it on.
No, that happens. Yeah, everybody has their path that they take in life, so that's definitely understandable.
Yes, sir.
With the mentorship, obviously these 4 people play a role in your life. Why is it important to have mentors? How do they shape you, Mabrey, in your development?
They help you. For me, they help me become who I am, and for like my quarterback coaches, they help me. They've helped me like succeed where I am today. Because during coronavirus, that I was working 7 days out of the week, like Monday through Friday were my throwing days, and then 3 days out of Monday and Friday I would I'd lift weights with Cisco, and my brother, he's just always there to help me and to push me.
Oh, that's
And he was also my receiver during COVID because I couldn't be around anybody because like I didn't want to get the Rona.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know, I call it, you know, people call it the Rona. I always called it nobody wants to be sauced by COVID.
Sauce by COVID. That's what I'm gonna start to say.
Right.
That's funny.
Man, you don't want that COVID sauce. That's what I would always say. Stay away from that.
Yes, sir.
I thought it would be interesting to mention, though, it had to be challenging for your quarterback coaches under COVID to kind of train you and actually because it's a little different when you're talking about online, virtual versus actually being there and doing the coaching. But again, with masking, social distancing, there are ways to do that.
Yes, sir.
A little bit difficult under COVID.
I mean, a little bit. My coach would wear a mask, Febreze the ball every time before we would start throwing, and he would actually come over some days and do whiteboard work, like to find out coverages. That's why it's helped me see the field so much better this past year, playing varsity.
You know, that's something you bring up because there is a difference there. It's one thing what you see on the field, the progression in the receivers, how the play develops, but you also have to see the plays. And you've seen many quarterbacks in the league, in college, they look at, you know, their the surface tablets the teams have, and they really take a look at the X's and O's and how they diagram a play or whatever.
Yeah, because you can be a good player, but I think there's also like many steps to become like a great player, because you can obviously get the ball to another person, but it's also like, can you read the defense and find that perfect window, like when it's available?
I mean, something you've had to enjoy, obviously, is watching the AFC and NFC championships on these quarterbacks, the emphasis on the quarterbacks, because again,
well, Tom Brady's my favorite. I've always loved him since day one.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, yes, the GOAT.
And the guy's amazing because he can throw 3 picks.
And still come back, on the championship. So
right. So let's get into the student athlete challenges for you as a student athlete. Take me through, Mabrey. What kind of challenges do you run into when it comes to performing on the field, making time for your academics, especially under COVID?
Well, it's definitely, you have to have great time management and you have to be very organized, because school has to come first, but you obviously can't play sports. So you got to get your schoolwork done first and then sports. So it's definitely time managing.
Yeah. And I think the thing is too, is that student athletes have always used this word procrastinating.
Yes.
I mean, because listen, the amount of time you have can be spent in many different areas. Okay. But the thing about, if you have something that's due, and again, under this COVID environment, these teachers, they look at, are you attending the Zoom class, or
exactly
you're going to class or not, or even the assignments, because it may be just not even test taking, it's the homework assignments, getting them in on time. Because to them, they're like, you really don't have an excuse. We're under COVID. You're not really coming to class. There's not all these other distractions. But
they're just like it. They just think like you don't have nothing else going on, to be honest. And you have to submit it by 11:59 at night. And if you don't get it there, then you get a 0. And we don't want that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So let's get into the school aspect of the academics, the relationship with your teachers. But I want to start somewhere first, because I think when you made it explain first of all from the 8th grade up into the 9th grade. Now you're going to be a sophomore next year. Take me through what it was with Woodland High School and attending, and how do the class periods work? Because you told me a little bit that it's a little bit different when you're in 9th grade and you're at a different site. Then you go to 10th and up, you're at a different site, academic wise. How do you do that?
Well, we have 4 periods in a day, and it's a little different from 9th grade to 10th through 11th and 12th, because it's a different environment, and because you're only stuck with your grade at that school. But I had a good drive over there twice a day, and it was pretty hard and annoying. But
So Mabrey was in a lot of different vehicles.
Yes, a lot.
Oh boy. And it's like, because it makes it easier. Can't we just have it all on one site? I can go, it's just walking
No,
distance.
yeah, like I just thought it was like so unnecessary to have another school. Well, it is also because we have so many kids. Like there's 4,000 kids for 3 grades at that school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, with your freshman year, because we talk to a lot of student athletes, and sometimes what happens is this is what creeps in. They wait till the last minute. So it could be they
Hmm.
wait till the last minute to where they're junior and senior year. That's really when they start to buckle down into their academics.
Hmm.
Tell me why your approach is a little bit different when we're talking about freshman year and how important it is to you academically.
Well, I've heard that freshman year is the year that really counts the most because freshman year is like your base and it's barely gonna grow after. Like freshman year is gonna be like your GPA mainly it's gonna like stay the same. I mean it can get better, but it can get worse as well. But it's definitely like your I don't know the word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's just different.
Foundation, foundation.
Yeah, the foundation of it, correct. And with the foundation, when you're setting that as a freshman, do you find it that you're having to utilize tools that, like the phone and maybe a planner? I mean, how organized and detailed? Now you have an assistant in mom, but how detailed and organized do you have to be on your own to make things work?
Well, I put everything on my phone. Like I have a calendar on my phone and I put our meeting on it. So I knew. So I remember that I had a meeting with you. So just stuff like that.
Now we'll get into the relationship with teachers and how important that is. First of all, what is your favorite class that you're enjoying right now when you're talking about school?
I love math. Math has just always really come easy to me.
And your least favorite class that you maybe don't enjoy as much?
Uh, maybe Spanish,
Yeah, because they got to throw a language in there, right?
but I'm almost done with it. Like I'm good at Spanish, but it's just kind of annoying learning vocab every unit.
Sure, sure. No, I get it. Um, Now with school, obviously, with you've chosen, there's two different routes to go with how school worked out this year. Obviously, is with hybrid learning, is you can choose to do Zoom on some of these classes, from what I understand,
Hmm.
and some of these you have to attend the class.
Yes.
Is how good does that work? I mean, is that does that work really well when you're mixing it up like that?
I mean, I sometimes I do online so I can go work out more, and it's faster. Like at school, sometimes you're just sitting there for pointless hours, like because you'll be done with your work and you're just waiting for the next period to come on. But when you're at home, you can like get through stuff so much faster because once you're done with class, you can go straight to another class and then straight to another one, and then you have the rest of the day to go do what you want, like lift weights or go throw the football.
There you go. There you go. Um, Now with that, because some people choose, they go, hey, I'd rather just hybrid learn, but I'd rather just learn on Zoom. Some
Hmm.
athletes are like that. Some of them are saying, you know what, forget that. I want to go be at the school,
Hmm.
and I want to get that whole experience. Uh, for you, when you're in the classroom, is there a certain specific space that you sit at that you know that so you can be as attentive as possible? Now I know with COVID, they have to keep you kind of in your same computer.
Like area, yeah. Well, I bring my own computer to school, but in each class we have like our assigned seats, and like on the bus we have our assigned seats, so we don't get like if someone gets it, then the people around them are gonna have to leave. But if I try to be away from everybody so I can stay at school and do my workouts with the coaches.
Yeah, speaking of the student body, how has COVID affected the school in the sense of your grade level at Woodland?
Uh, well, the coaches, they really, I mean, not the coaches, the teachers are really obsessed with us wearing the mask. Like if it's down, they're like, put it back up, put it back up. And we got like they closed all of our water fountains down, and so like they got these new things that you put your bottle under and it fills it up, but you can't get access to water without that if you don't have a bottle, unless you buy it from the cafeteria.
So in other words, student athletes, you better go find some
Yeah.
bottles.
So no, sometimes I'm dying of thirst and I literally just go steal a bottle on my friend's backpack and I go fill it up.
He's resourceful, folks. He's resourceful. He's gonna find a way to get some water, so that's not gonna stop him.
I gotta stay hydrated.
You got to. You got to. So let's talk about that relationship with the teacher. Why is it important for a student athlete, and especially for you, Mabrey, to have a good relationship with your teachers? Because again, you're a student athlete, you know, there's that stigma, oh, they're just here to play football or their sport, and they're really not into the academics. I mean, obviously student athletes want to change that culture, and they want to change the way maybe some teachers feel about that. What makes a difference for you to be able to have that good relationship with your teacher?
Well, I mean, if your teachers don't like you or they think you don't pay attention to class, they're obviously think you're going to blow it off. And if you ask for help, they're going to be like, well, you should have been listening in class. But if you're really like focusing in class and they see that and they know that you do stuff outside of like out of class, like sports, they're going to want to help you. And if you're like you're missing an assignment and you say, hey, I had this that night and I couldn't get to it because I didn't have enough time, they're probably going to let you slide because they see that you're working really hard in class. Because sometimes that happens to me.
I mean, being honest, and I love it. Well, we're here with Mabrey Mettauer. He is the class of 2024 quarterback for Woodland High School. GPA right now, Mabrey?
It's a 4.0 right now.
Look at him. Yes. Well, we're going to be right back talking a little bit more about academics. We'll be right back.
I'm legendary. You know, let's go. Out of the dust, a legend is born. Born for the game, born for the throne. Up from the ground, and out of the gates.
Dr. Mark Gabriel. I'm a chiropractor at the Wellness Center PDX and the Wellness Center Beaverton. My main goal is to help out as many patients to get out of pain as fast as possible by giving the body its natural ability to heal itself. So we have two clinics. One is in the heart of Lower Hearst neighborhood and the other one is on the west side by St. Vincent Hospital. We have multiple providers that are able to assess the body from various different angles by assessing the nervous system, the muscular system, and the bones as well as the joints. And that way we can be able to provide a treatment plan that's individualized for every single patient. We have a holistic approach to be able to heal any joint pain without surgery. We accept all major health insurance plans, and if there's something that is not covered, we make sure it's affordable. At our offices, we treat the main cause of the problem and not just the symptoms, because symptoms might come back again and then the problem gets worse.
Well, welcome back to Outside the Games. We have here Mettauer. He's a 6'5", 210 quarterback out of Woodland High School, GPA 4.0. Yes, he's killing it in the classroom, and class of 2024. Well, I tell you, Mabrey, we kind of highlighted a little bit about the student athlete and that relationship with the teacher. So as you get deeper into that relationship, take me through how the teacher, how they can make it better for you to be a better student. What do they have to do to be able to do that for you?
Well, they can help you a lot by if they see that you really want to get stuff done and they see you really trying, they're going to say, hey, why don't you come in during lunch? Why don't you come in after school? Why don't you come in before school? And if they see you're doing that, then they're going to help you succeed in their class. And I didn't. So today I went on online school for my first period and I had math second period and I didn't understand something. So my mom drove me back to school so I could learn it because I have a test next class and I really, really need a good grade for that test or want a good grade.
Yeah, and it takes some forecasting on your part to go, you know what, this is the grade I'm looking for, and this is what I need to do to make sure I get that.
Yeah,
grade.
that's what I told my mom. I was like, I have to go back to school to go learn this because math is a little hard to learn, like seeing someone do it on a computer. Like it's so much easier seeing your teacher talk about it and walk you through it. And that's why I like going to school sometimes, so they can like teach you how to do it step by step.
Well, and there's something to be said. Now I will tell you, there's a guy on YouTube that all he does, he goes on a little thing and he does equations on
That's what we watch.
right,
Like it barely makes any sense.
right.
I
I
don't
mean,
understand it that
watch
well.
somebody do an equation, but in actuality, if you don't have that one-on-one time with that teacher to say, you know what, excuse me, I don't get this. I don't understand this method. Can you help me out with it a little bit?
And you have to email them, which is so hard. And they probably won't get back to you in like a day.
Well, they have
And you need help with that homework like now. You can't wait for an email.
right, right. So the expectation of the teacher to perform well is obviously means a lot to you. What about for you though, Mabrey? What do you have to do to make the teacher successful in their lesson in class?
By always engaging in them, like engaging into their conversations and always answering, raising your hand. And I think that's it.
Well,
Sorry.
and I think with that too is that you always we talked a little bit about this, that you have to have a passion and an interest in that subject.
Yeah, you want to have to, like, if you don't like the subject, then obviously you probably not going to try. But I try to have interest in all my subjects so I can succeed in all of them. Because history really isn't my thing, but I try to make it my thing so I can like it more. And Spanish, I try to like it. I like it because my teacher, she makes it better. She's cool.
And that's everything. I think when a teacher shows passion on their end for the subject,
Yeah,
it gets you to want to learn.
it helps you out more, way more.
Oh, 100%, 100%. What is that the Woodland High School like? Talk to me a little bit about that high school and what's different about it than what you have experienced before. Again, you're a freshman this year. You're going to be a sophomore, and you'll likely go to a different campus site. So, what's been different about high school for you?
It's like the classes you can take are so much, like there's like you can take electives and you can take whatever electives, like in seventh and eighth grade you can only take like theater, art, and culinary, which is like cook food. But now you can take like what you want, like what you want your degree in. So like you can take stuff by, like if you want to learn medical stuff, you can take like medical terminology. And if you want to learn like architecture, then you can take that. Or if you want to learn design, you can learn that. It's what you want to learn and then what you want to succeed in later in life.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's academic success. So, how does Woodland High School make sure that you're academically successful? Are there counselors? Are there people there to make sure that you're on task and you're gonna do really well to graduate? You have people that like that there in the academic
I would
department.
say that the counselors help a lot. Like my seventh and eighth grade counselor, she helped a lot. But I would say the coaches mainly, like the head coach, Coach Rapp, helps because they're always on top of us for keeping good grades because they want us to play in the games. They don't want us to fail because they need like the good players to be out there.
Have you noticed that Woodland High School has some alumni that come to the games, and do they show some support? They're there at those games, and you seem like there's some people there that have been in the past that
Hmm.
have a lot of love for that school.
My brother's been there. Uh, who else? What's his name? Danny has. Uh, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more. I've only played 1 year there at the on the varsity level, but I'm sure there's a lot more that come out
So
there and support.
you feel that the community supports Woodland High School.
Oh yeah, yes. The games are crazy. Like they hold like the stadium, like on our side, holds probably like 8,000 people, and when COVID's not there, oh my, the games are packed. I wish I could have experienced it this year, but we could only have the stands half filled. But it was still a great experience.
Yeah, protocols obviously in place, to keep people safe.
Hmm.
But yeah, something to look forward to because again, you got another 3 years.
Yeah,
to
I'm
look-
excited to see what next year holds.
yeah, that's going to be something. Anytime you could get away from, again, get to back to some normalcy
Hmm.
of a little bit what it was like prior to March of 2020.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice thing. So, with you in Woodland High School, does the faculty of teachers really look at the student success rate and how important graduation is to that high school?
The teachers, yes, sir. They help a lot. I mean, it depends on the teacher, to be honest, because some teachers are just there to get paid, but some teachers really care about their students and they want them to succeed in life.
Yeah, you notice we don't shy away from teachers and holding them accountable because
Yes.
they have a profession, they have a job, and they have to be invested in it just like you
Yeah. Because they
students.
have to help us out.
Right, right. Did you find it with COVID though? It was a little bit difficult of the way they were planning all this out, or did it seem like they had a good plan when it came to COVID and making sure that Zoom meetings and all these hybrid type learning,
Hmm.
it seemed like they had a plan?
They had a good plan at start. It was a little struggle because no one really knew how to work stuff because it's all new to us because we never knew we were going to have to do online school. Like no one ever thought about that. Like we're going to have to do online school because a pandemic's going to hit the world. But
Right.
I mean, after a few weeks, it got better, and we learned throughout those weeks.
We've heard this said by a student athlete before academically that a couple things. One is when it comes to tutors and tutors being there to help the student athlete.
Mm,
If there's something that you don't get, it's okay to say, you know what, I don't understand this, and I have to be vocal, and especially as a quarterback, my guy, you have to
yes,
be very vocal and
a
say,
leader.
right. You have to say, hey, I don't get this. So, do you find tutors are very helpful for student athletes?
Yes, sir. I have a tutor for Spanish. It
Okay.
helps a lot because we have like conjugating like these charts, and there's several of them, and she helps a lot with that. But outside of that, sometimes I'll get tutoring for science, like with my teacher, because learning about cells is pretty hard, like all the different types of organelles in
Yeah, I can just say this: chemistry wasn't my favorite. So,
it. I have to take that next year.
yeah, that wasn't. I had a hard time applying it that in a sense of where I could go, you know what, I really dig this subject. But hey, we as student athletes, we try to plug through stuff and do our
Hmm.
best, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Um, with the aspect of the tutors, do you think that again, for you in academics, do you think that because of COVID, has it presented a challenge with regards to how they grade and how they judge and or how they look after you academically, the teachers? Is that a tough
Hmm.
thing?
Like they were really lenient this year. Like they helped us out a lot because we also didn't really know what we were doing. So, because I mean, we didn't really know how to turn in assignments because we've never done it before because we've always turned it in on paper. But now everything in class is all virtual. Like it's all on the computer. So they require us to like bring a computer to class every day, do our work on it, and that's how we submit stuff now. It depends what teacher, but that's mainly what I do all my work on.
Mm, nice, nice. Hey, so with you training, let's get into Team Fury 7-on-7. And the reason
Yes.
why we want to talk about them is because they're an organization that looks after the student athlete on,
Yes. Very much.
training, right? So
Hmm.
how have they been helpful for you?
They've helped me a lot in recruiting. They're on top of our grades, and they always want us to succeed in everything we do. And the coaches are really cool. They help us all out a lot, and we have practice on Sundays, and they have the first hour and a half is footwork and like drills and agility and all that. And then the last hour and a half or 2 hours is 7-on-7. So we go footwork agility for an hour and a half, and then we go positions, and then we go to offense and defense spread out, and then we end it out with 7-on-7, and then we go to 1-on-1 sometimes. But it's kind of weird being a leader for 18-year-olds, but I try my best. At first, it was a little weird because uh, they didn't really listen at first, but now they started to. Because last weekend or yesterday, we were in Orlando, and I had to get everyone to sleep. The coach was like, "Yo, go round up everyone. We got to get to sleep." And I was helping my mom with the laundry.
Man, so was it hard because it was like, okay, I'm just a freshman and I'm talking to these upperclassmen
Hmm.
trying to direct them, be a
Like trying to
leader.
be their parent.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but it's easy for me now. You just got to be vocal and not really care about what other people think. What other people think.
Yeah, and speaking about that too, do you try to seek out others, and especially if you don't know something, you try to get the right answer, whatever. But do you seek others to try to find maybe, hey, I'm going to get an answer to this question, or I'm going
Hmm.
to stick to a person that maybe understands this better and get and be like that sponge and so
Yeah, like
much.
trying to absorb information from other people on the team, and uh, I absorb stuff from my coaches. After every game, like Saturday after Saturday, we'll have a meeting and talk about which plays worked, which starting lineup I want. And on Sunday we do the same, and we'll talk about it going into the next tournament.
Nice, nice. Let's go into depth about the coaches though, because these are coaches that are putting a lot of time, a lot of energy
Hmm.
for these
Yes,
student
sir.
athletes. What is it about that you could say why these coaches stand out to you that help you in the ways of academics off the field and just being there, kind of like mentors in a sense because they're looking after
Yeah, they're blowing us up on Twitter. They help a lot on that. Like after we make like a cool highlight, type all of our ads, send it off, and help us with recruiting, stuff like that.
you? Yeah, and the tournaments. Tell me what those tournaments are like. I mean, especially when you're able to play against other top talent all over
Hmm.
all over the nation.
Yes, sir.
What's that like?
I mean, it's really cool because it's like kind of a family bond. We're all family now, and we got an Airbnb this weekend or last weekend, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And
And maybe
sir,
what tournaments have you been to that you've experienced that really stood out to you as really fun?
we've only had two this year, but last year I played with KB3, which was with Keith Blackman, and we went to a few Round Rock, Dallas. But this year we've been to Dallas and Orlando, and then in 2 weeks we go to San Antonio. The Orlando one was really cool. That was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, you take it. Here's the thing: it's about pipelines, especially when you're
Hmm.
talking about recruiting. You got your Texas pipeline, Florida pipeline, California, Midwest. I mean, just all over. There's a lot of pipelines everywhere. So when you take your talents and gifts over to say, Florida,
Yes.
what stood out to you about Florida when you were there, seeing some of the talent from there?
I mean, I just like showing other teams what we got and what we have to show people. And I love competing against teams from far away. It's kind of cool seeing like all these teams coming from Boston, California, Oklahoma, and just meet up in one spot. There was 85 teams this past weekend.
Wow, that's a month. That's a lot.
And out of that 1,200 kids that were there, I got ranked one of the top players of that tournament.
Man, way to go.
Thank you.
Wow, that's powerful. Man.
And I was the only freshman quarterback, or the only freshman there.
So that's the thing. I mean, you're now building this resume, as it were, not an upperclassman. You're going to be a sophomore, but there's some expectation that follows up with that, with these accolades.
Yes, sir.
How do you maybe keep grounded in all the competition when it's 7-on-7? Because you're not wearing any helmet and pads. You're wearing a helmet as far as protect your head, but it's more so it's a different setting. And so
Yeah.
how do you handle all that?
You just got to block everything out. You can't because on defense, the defense talks trash to the quarterback, to the defense players. You just have to block it all out. That's what a quarterback has to do. And you can't let anybody get to your head because that'll affect your gameplay.
Right. When in the tournaments that you had, and again, you had that accolade where you were a top freshman, which was great, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Did you find it that you had to work really well? And because again, you're assembling a team together, like in 7-on-7,
Hmm.
there's something to be said about chemistry and working with those ones, building that chemistry
Yes.
with receivers. How did that go?
Well, I have a receiver that plays with me that was on varsity with me at the Woodlands High School. And so we already had we click easy. But we've had some practices and for Team Fury, and I've got some good chemistry with a few players on there, and we're still getting there, but we're gonna be a great team. And when we're like traveling, like in Dallas, we had practice. In Orlando, we had practice. So every Saturday before the game, we had practice.
Wow. A lot of and kudos to the
Yes.
coaches getting you guys prepared, you student athletes prepared to be able to do that. Is there much film sessions part of 7-on-7? Is there a lot of that?
Me and my coach have them together so we can see what I was doing wrong and what I was doing right, and to see where I need to place the ball better.
Nice, nice. Well, hey, if you're just joining us again, this is a class of 2024. Mabrey Mettauer. He is 6'5", 210. GPA is 4.0. He's a quarterback at Woodland High School. We'll be right back.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our Complete Clean pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Welcome back to Outside the Game. We have here with us Mabrey Mettauer. He's a 6'5", 210. He's a quarterback for Woodland High School in Texas. GPA is 4.0, class of 2024, going to be a sophomore next year. I tell you, Mabrey, we talked a little bit about 7-on-7. We go into your season now. But we want to get into this, though, is what made you want to play the game of football and why quarterback?
Well, I wanted to play the game of football because I've had my uncle play in the NFL, and I had my uncles play in college, 2 of them at A&M, and then I had my grandpa play at A&M. And when they had the 1 bar and the leather helmet, we have his helmet. It's pretty cool.
There's memorabilia of A&M stuff, correct?
Yes. We had 3 generations there. And then my sister broke it off, and then we just all.
Oh, my goodness, sis, really? But
yeah.
no. With that, though, is with the quarterback position, there's just a lot of things going on. You have to orchestrate, you have to command a team, you have to, see how the play develops. You have to look off safeties, and just the game itself is just a lot to manage. Do you accept that role? Do you want to do that? Do you find it challenging? Are you wanting to master it? What's your attitude towards it?
Well, I want to master it because that's my love and my passion for the game is that position. But what's funny was in Little League, I was always too heavy to play quarterback because the weight limit was like 100 pounds. I was like 99, and for my first year, and I played quarterback and running back that first year. But the years after that, till 6th grade, I was lineman and tight end, whatever. And then 7th grade, I tried out for quarterback, and they put me at wide receiver so I could catch the ball over everybody. But then 8th grade was my first year quarterback, and 9th grade is my 2nd year.
So you played the receiver position because generally you're tall. I can go get the ball. I can snatch it out of it, right? But for you at that frame at 6'5", 210, to play quarterback, you're seeing over the line, but there's some advantage there, right? They saw that there was some advantage there.
Yes. Well, what was a big advantage was the O-line that I had was great. It was probably one of the best lines in the state. The center was my cousin, the senior, and the left guard was my cousin as well. And he's a sophomore right now. And their dad played in the NFL. That's my uncle that played in the NFL. Wow. And then the left tackle, his dad played in the NFL.
Wow, so, there's family. I mean, there's little family there.
Yeah, and they're family friends of ours too, the left tackle. And then the right tackle is also a family friend. And he's like 6'7", 315. It's big.
Wow. What did they say? What are they saying about Woodland, Texas, and about your class? Because they know COVID has really messed with the classes of 2020, 2021. There's been the transfer portal. There's been people saying, okay, I'm in college now. Well, you know what? I'm headed to the NFL because I don't know where the seasons are going to go with me coming back my senior year. what has that done, and what are people saying about this team, this class? What's a heavy class? Is it 2022, 3, and 4? I mean, so is there a lot of good players at
Well, for us, a heavy class is class 2024, 2023. Those are like, which my cousin's in 2023. And those two main classes are very good for us. And I think we'll proceed in the playoffs and go to. I'm gonna take my team to state. I'm bringing us there.
I love it. I love that. And with you, so when you started out the season, take me through what that season was like this year, playing as a freshman. And again, you had mentioned you played 4 games or so as JV,
JV, yes.
but then you got pulled and had a chance to play with varsity and get some reps in. So
Yes, sir.
what that experience was like for you, Mabrey.
I mean, JV, it was pretty easy. Like, I read the defenses very well, and everyone always told me you're not going to be able to run the ball like you did in 8th grade, truck over everybody, but I blew past everybody. Like, I just nailed everybody, and I threw a lot of touchdowns. And then after my 4th game on JV, they moved me up to varsity, and they're like, you're not going to be able to run the ball like you do or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I still ran over people, and I threw the ball really well. I mean, for my second game or first game, I can't remember. My first pass ever to be thrown on varsity was a 50 or 70-yard ball all the way in the air, mid-stride for a touchdown. And then I ran a touchdown that game, and I rolled out. Someone was running a post, and I throw off my back foot, and I throw it across the field for like 52 yards in the air. That game was crazy. It's so fun.
So what's interesting there is that somebody noticed that you had an arm. You had an arm to throw the ball.
Yes. I had 127 passing yards for 6 passes in that game. I was 100% completion rate all the way to the playoffs.
Wow, that's something, man. Categorize yourself, because a lot of times with quarterbacks, and especially now with college programs, there's a certain offenses they run. There's the spread, there's the pistol, there's the pro style. Where does Mettauer fit? And is it too early to know? I mean, is the book still being written? What's comfortable for you? What do you prefer when it comes to a quarterback position in an offensive style?
Well, we run a spread right now, but honestly, I can play anything there is. I can play pro style, whatever offense there is. I'm gonna find a way how I can succeed in it. I'm gonna find a way.
They want to put points on the board. They want to strike first, strike hard. No, I'm not talking about Cobra Kai, but basically, they just want to be able to do that. Do you find it that you're the type of quarterback that has to be able to see? You look at the field, you kind of see how the play is developing, what the defense is showing you, in order to decide, hey, I'm going to run the ball or I'm going to pass. Are you with spread? You try to be as deceptive as possible,
yes.
But at some point, it's really the ability that takes over when you have the ball in your hands, right?
Yes, sir. Well, I can be a pro style or dual threat. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on the situation. And if no one's open, of course I'm gonna tuck the ball and run, and I'm gonna take it to the house.
He's no joke. I believe you. Man, I gotta say this. The hair. The locks.
The Goldilocks.
Take me through, because people talk about, we talk a little bit about this off the air a little bit. The Trevor Lawrence thing.
Yes, sir.
Clemson. The locks out of the helmet, right? And just look, and you get a little bit of something of that, right?
Yes, sir. At all my tournaments, even my team, like on my 7-on-7 team, they call me Trevor. I don't even think they know my name. I just get called Trevor. And like, if someone wants my attention, like from like anyone at a tournament, they're just yo Trevor, or Sunshine, or Goldilocks, whatever.
Well, obviously, seeing what Trevor Lawrence did in the ACC with Clemson, he was able to perform at a high level. There's something to be said that, again, that's Trevor Lawrence, but you, Mabrey, are looking to make a name for yourself as Mabrey Power. right?
Yes. That's
I,
one of that's one of my big goals. I want to separate myself from everyone else, and I want to have my own name. I mean, it's cool and all being called Trevor Lawrence, but I want to make a name for myself.
right. No, totally get that. And with that too is that you have to be on a level, you have to be grounded because there's so many times with accolades will be thrown your way. People will tag you. People will say you're this, you're the next, yada yada.
And then talk bad
Before
about
you
you.
know it, it's like, yeah, that's fine, but at some point you have to remain poised and in control. Is that
Hmm.
something that your parents are really working with you on?
Yes, sir. Uh, well, if someone says like a bad comment, I just brush it off, cause I know what I'm capable of, and like as a quarterback, you just have to block out the outsiders, and don't let anything get to your brain, cause that can really mess you up on the field.
I mean, no joke, but defense does a lot of trash talking. What is the worst
Mm,
thing you've heard a defense say to you?
I can't even say it on here. It's so bad. Like
Okay, so
at the past tournament.
what's one you can say that maybe they said something about you?
Let's see. I don't even know.
But some
The
things are being said. These defenses are trying
Yes,
to throw
and
anything
then
in.
like during the season, like they were talking trash to me, and my cousins just backed me up. That's why it was so cool having them on the line with me.
What did you notice, Mabrey, about that jump from JV and the team you were playing with there to then varsity? You know, speaking from experience, when you're pulled from, as a freshman, you're playing JV, but then you get pulled up to be in varsity as a freshman, going to be a
Hmm.
sophomore. I mean, that's something special. That really stands out.
Yes,
That
sir.
made you kind of look at yourself, kind of pinch yourself a little bit, and go, "Wow, I've arrived."
Yes, sir. Oh well, it was a very big jump from like how people played, how defenses were. Because on JV, like people are gonna say the same defense, but on varsity, they can go from like a cover two to cover four to cover three, whatever they want, really. But you just have to be prepared for it. And my mom always says preparation equals success. And so before every game, I'd have a board work with my coach Sean Salisbury, to get prepared. Even if I wasn't going to play, I still had to be prepared for the game in case they're going to put me out on the field. And eventually they did, and I was prepared.
Yeah, and your coaches, we've talked to them earlier about the mentorship and everything, but Sean Salisbury and Keith Blackman, something about them is because with Sean Salisbury, he's played in the NFL, he's played at a high
Yes.
level. So what are some things that he's mentioning to you on how you can make the improvement from that JV level up to the varsity and how to handle those different coverages? What is he walking through with you?
Well, on the whiteboard, he walks through like how they can switch, and just like before you get to the line, he just says, look out, see what they're in, and then identify the coverage and see what holes, what windows are going to be open, and just see what can work.
Well, because defenses are throwing different coverages at you, right? They're going to
Yeah.
switch things up. Line shifts over to the left or the right, or
Hmm.
a linebacker drops back or comes up to the line, or when they come up to the line, they drop back. And so it almost looks
Yeah.
like there's three in the second tier.
And
But
if I don't think the play, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. Well, so if I don't think the play is going to work, I can oppo, like I can change it. I can
Audible.
change the play. Yeah, audible. My bad. And if like say there's like stacked more on the left and the play's going to the left, I can check opposite and say, we're going to go to the right side, it's wide open. Or I can like audible a pass, tap my helmet. That means like go. Like if it's a one-on-one, man, I'm going to tap my helmet and say go out, and I'm going to throw it to you. And we're going to flip the 50-50 ball.
And you're making sure that the wide receiver is going to catch that ball.
Yes.
As a quarterback, so when you're looking at coverages and you're seeing some things out there, it's everything to kind of wait because there's a design play that the offense will run.
Hmm.
But sometimes that play gets jammed. I mean, it gets jammed. So you got to look at the second option or third option.
The check
Not a
downs,
lot of
you got
time.
to go through progression.
Right. There's not a lot of time for a quarterback I mean, when you get to the first option and there's nothing there, usually it's the second or third, but there is no fourth option.
Yeah, if those three options aren't open, go ahead and run. But if it's not safe to run, then slide or throw it out of bounds, get out of the pocket and throw it out of bounds.
How much as quarterback do you rely on your running back? Because there's a special relationship there.
Yes,
That
there
running back
is.
is everything.
Well, obviously you have to know your running back. Like my running back, like our mesh was really good because you just have to like have the right, like, I don't know, you just have to have chemistry with them and know how they play. And so like if you need to pull the ball, you can pull it easily. Because if you don't have that chemistry, then like if you try to pull the ball, you might fumble the ball. So I think you need a really strong chemistry with your running back. Else stuff can go pretty bad, and we don't want that.
No, not at all.
Those unnecessary fumbles.
How big is your offensive line? What do they mean for you? I mean, really, let's look at the trenches.
I love my boys. I love my boys.
I think a lot of people forget about those trenches because they look at the skill players, right? The wide receiver, the running back, the quarterback, but they forget about what's in the trenches because that's where it starts. That's where the play develops. How big are your trenches?
Well, I couldn't do what I do without the line, because that's how I get the ball off. Is because I have them fighting for me, so I can pass the ball to the wide receiver. But and I know a lot, like having a lineman as a brother, like they also want to have the love a little bit, and because no one really knows like what really happens down in there, because like stuff gets aggressive in there down.
Well, and they say that that obviously, and we can look at it in the NFL, is basically to start with a good team, you have to have a good offensive line. You could have the best quarterback, Heisman Trophy quarterback, but if you don't have an offensive line, there's some problems.
Yes, sir. You can't throw the ball off.
With you, Mabrey at quarterback, and we'll get into, because we talked about progression read.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at, so there's that deceptiveness that a quarterback can give. He can look at that first option, but he's really looking at the third option as a backup. How do you look off exactly? Because again, I'm sure Sean Salisbury and Keith Black
with my eyes.
Exactly. They talk about that. You know, you've heard of Dilfer's dimes. He talks about that trajectory of vision that the quarterback has. So you're looking at that first option, but you see it off to your left. That third option is wide open. How do you handle that? Does it have to be a decisive play if you're making that read?
No, well, I mean, eyes are everything, because the DB or the safety play off of your eyes. They go where your eyes go. So if you're going over here and you know you're going over here, so say I'm going this way, but my pass is over here, the DB is going to go over here and I check down and throw over here. I know eyes are a big thing in the game.
Yes, definitely. I have to ask this. With your offense, is there a screenplay?
Screen? Yes, there is. It's called 58-59 Rampage.
Nice.
Or it's called a tunnel screen. Where
there you go.
And all the line just goes, whoa.
That was what I was gonna get to. Is it something to watch that line? Those linemen,
it's
go
crazy.
Down and pancake these players.
You just see them ear hole all the linebackers, safeties, and the corners. It's crazy. It's just like a whole wave, and the whiteout just comes right behind them. It works almost every time. It's like our best play.
Well, we're here with Mabrey Mettauer. He is a 6'5", 210 quarterback out of Woodland High School. GPA's 4.0, class of 2024, folks. Going to be a sophomore. We'll be right back.
Dr. Mabrey, I'm a chiropractor at the Wellness Center PDX and the Wellness Center Beaverton. My main goal is to help out as many patients to get out of pain as fast as possible by giving the body its natural ability to heal itself. So we have two clinics. One is in the heart of Lower Hearst neighborhood and the other one is on the west side by St. Vincent Hospital. We have multiple providers that are able to assess the body from various different angles by assessing the nervous system, the muscular system, and the bones as well as the joints. And that way we can be able to provide a treatment plan that's individualized for every single patient. We have a holistic approach to be able to heal any joint pain without surgery. We accept all major health insurance plans, and if there is something that is not covered, we make sure it's affordable. At our offices, we treat the main cause of the problem and not just the symptoms, because symptoms might come back again and then the problem gets worse.
Well, welcome back to Outside the Games. We have here Mabrey Mettauer. He is a class of 2024, GPA 4.0, quarterback for Woodlands High School. Maybe we talk about the season, and really, what was your difficult game you had this season when competing on the varsity level?
The most difficult game for me was probably our playoff game, but the only thing that was really hard about it was I was running the ball a lot, and it got really tiring. And the people that we were playing were so big, the players. But I handled it good. But I was already like really tight in my groin, which was like when I got off the field, I went and stretched it real quick, and then I went back on. That was probably one of my hardest games. I fought my heart out for that game. I tried my best.
And did you learn a lot about, because we talked about film room earlier, was there a lot of film that you could take from that you could improve on?
Yes, sir. I've watched that film probably like 5 times just to see what I did good and what I did bad, what I could do better, which hole I should have hit, how I should have thrown this ball.
What's your relationship with your quarterback coach and your head coach? Because we believe those are important relationships, because they have to trust you on the field to run the game plan. But then you also have to trust them that they're making the best decision possible as well.
Yes, sir. Well, I think the relationship with your coaches is very important, because if you don't have a good relationship with your coach, then how are they going to help you and how are you going to help them? And if they see that that you like them and they like you, then they're going to want to help you be the best that you can be, and they want to see you shine on the field when you're out there.
I know your quarterback coaches have kind of helped you with this, but sometimes there's that time in the game where they make a play call and maybe you didn't do something right. Maybe there's this conversation that you and your coach have. How important is it to kind of get through some of those tough times when maybe that play didn't develop the way it should have, or maybe maybe by chance you didn't run something correctly, but then you believe very strongly in something? Do you feel that there's a good communication there with your coaches?
Yes, sir. I just think you have to talk it out a little bit, because that's happened to me before. It happens to everybody. But being a quarterback, you have to know what's going on the whole time. Your head can't be spinning around. You have to know, because you're the leader of the team. You control everything. And if you do it wrong, then it's going to mess everything up, because you have the ball in your hands the whole time. So,
and a lot can be said of this though, is that the aspect of film from a standpoint of people watching you.
Yes.
You see that a lot in the NFL, in the college game, where you see that, okay, they played really well in the beginning part of the season, but now towards the tail end of the season, man, there's a bunch of film on you. So
yes, sir.
If there's a lot of film, they're dissecting everything you do, for your footwork, to your progression, to how you approach the game. What's your tendencies? I mean, do you feel that that's something that you have to adjust to? Because again, there will be more film on you, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Well, me and the coaches have to decide what we're going to prepare for the next game, because everyone's going to know that they're going to know what I'm going to do. They're going to know I'm going to run the ball on this play, because we have this package called heavy. And every time I went out, they knew I was going to run the ball. They're like, the freshman's going to run, the freshman's going to run. But, I mean, I still took care of business.
Right. Well, I tell you, this has been a fun conversation, my guy. We appreciate it very much. This has been Mabrey Mettauer. Be on the lookout for him. He's going to be a sophomore, class of 2024, out of Woodlands High School in Texas, quarterback, GPA 4.0. And did I get that right or what? So, and also, folks, he's part of Team Theory 7-on-7. So he's part of the program. I tell you, it's been a pleasure to really talk to you. Boy, for a freshman, my goodness, my guy, you're something.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you having me on here, talking about my game and how I'll succeed in the years beyond from here. Hopefully, I get to the higher level. That's what my goal is.
Definitely. Well, we're not done yet. We have this thing called Mabrey the Quick Blitz. We're gonna blitz some questions to you, kind of get to know you on a personal level.
Okay.
We're gonna start with this one, Mabrey. Favorite food, my guy?
Sushi. No, it's just too good. We have this local restaurant called Sakikawa. Best sushi you'll have.
Wow, that's the first time a student athlete says sushi. Love it.
Sushi and steak.
Steak. Yep. Favorite dessert?
Probably vanilla ice cream.
There you
Or
go.
or cookies. Cookies.
Cookies with ice cream.
Yes, chocolate chip.
Have you heard of a bazooki?
No. Have you heard of a blizzard?
Yes.
Okay.
Heard of a
Yeah, from Dairy Queen.
Yes, but bazookies are this: a cookie warmed, usually a chocolate chip melted with that chocolate.
Mm-hmm. That sounds insanely good. Have you heard of a fried Oreo?
Yes, I've had a fried Twinkie.
We have those at the Houston Rodeo.
Yes, man.
Those are good.
Unfortunately, I'm not a student athlete anymore, so those kind of things will put the pounds on. So I got to be careful.
Yes, sir.
The thing we'll do is, who's your favorite musical artist?
Well, I like rap a lot, but my mom doesn't like that. I like, probably right now, I would say, I like Juice WRLD, but he passed away.
Okay. Apple or Android, and why?
Apple. Android, those things are like an alien. It's like an alien phone. Like, those cameras are so bad. They're like literally pixels when you take a picture.
Man, if you could drive any car you would just want to drive, it could be SUV, it could be a car, what would it be?
If I could drive any car, I'd probably drive a Pagani. It's a supercar. It's really cool.
There we go.
But they're too expensive.
Now they are. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
who knows in the future, but let's look at this. If you could travel anywhere as a destination spot in the world, where would Mabrey want to go?
Either Australia or Bora Bora. I just feel like those are really exotic places.
There we go. I love it. Favorite shoe to wear casually, my guy?
Nikes. They're just, I'm a big shoe guy. I love shoes.
Oh, he's got a full house of shoes. I'm sure it is.
Yes.
There you go. Favorite cleat to wear on the field?
Well, right now I'm wearing the Nike Vapors. I think that's what they're called. They're the sock version, but I like those, and also the Adidas Zeros right now. Great. They're great cleats for cutting and stuff like that.
Is Mabrey a headphones guy or an earbuds guy?
It depends. Like, when I go to tournaments, I like to put on my Beats, but when I'm in the car, I just like to put on headphones or earphones.
There we go. Gonna get serious on a couple things. Mabrey, if you were running late somewhere and you had to let somebody know something, to let them know where you're at, would you call or text, and why?
Like if I was going to someone else's place and I'm gonna be late, I'll call them and be like, I'm gonna be late by a little. Just be on the lookout for me.
Let them know. That's right.
Yes, sir.
We've seen a lot of things change. There's been political stuff and social stuff and
Yes.
justice and racial tension and a lot of different things in the world today. But for you, if you could have an impact in something to make the world a better place, what would that one thing be, Mabrey?
Probably I can make an impact on the world. Just treat everyone with respect. Yeah. And to follow Jesus like everyone's new Jesus.
Right. Religion means a lot. Having a
Yes, sir.
relationship with him, that's powerful. With you, are you a hat guy? Do you like to wear hats?
I like hats and beanies. But my hair's a little too long right now for a hat. I just gotta cut it. Right when I get a haircut, I put a hat on. It's just right now, if I put a hat on, all this hangs. It just has to be like right here.
Last movie you just saw?
What did I just see? I saw the new Wonder Woman.
Okay.
It was
Good. Recommend it?
I liked it. It's good.
Last thing your dad told you?
We're talking about the interview.
Okay. Last
He
thing
said you better be ready.
last thing your mom told you.
Same thing. You better be ready. You better get in there.
Okay, so you're not getting over on your parents because they're consistent. Okay, they're consistent.
Yes.
You can't just go, hey mom, and they, hey, listen, the kids can do this. Hey mom, can I go out such and such, whatever, knowing dad doesn't approve? Or you go to the other parent. You don't do that. You can't run something up on your parents.
If my dad would just be like, ask your mom. If my mom says no, then that means no, and I don't question.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Last question, and again, you'll be a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
Boy, this interview's been something special. It's like it's like I'm talking to a senior right now.
Thank you.
Last question is this: what would you prefer, Mabrey? One or the other. First thing, would you prefer a sushi that had smelly fish and just did not smell right, or would you prefer to be on Outside the Game show?
Outside the game show.
Of course, who would want some stinky old sushi?
Exactly.
Right?
I get to talk to my boy, Mr. Kevin.
There you go. And by the way, the sushi, I got to talk about this. Do you go to the sushi places that have the sushi go on the conveyor belt? And you can pick what you want?
We have one at the Galleria. I've never been before, but I've asked my mom to take me. But I don't think it's like going around right now because of COVID. They don't want people touching it.
No, but prior to COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I tell you, special student athlete, we appreciate you very much, Mabrey Mettauer. Thank you so much to your parents as well, allowing this interview to take place. We appreciate all that you're doing to grow as a person.
Thank you so much, yes, sir.
Yeah, you bet. Well, this has been Mabrey Mettauer, 6'5", 210, freshman, gonna be a sophomore, class of 2024. I tell you, out of Woodlands, Texas, out of the Texas State, and GPA 4.0. Folks, he's doing it both.
Thank you so much.
He will say this, that take care of your freshman year. Be ready. Take care of the classroom. We appreciate you very much, Mabrey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Savannah Gemolo, and you've been watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.